So this is Oppenheimer movie from 2023 association. It's like a recently released movie starring Cillian Murphy, so the typical Peaky Blinder. There is this is after the incident was occurred. Prison.
We're not judges, Doctor.
No, only derogatory information in your indictment of me.
Honestly, I forget.
Fusion.
The whole hearing took a month. Who'd want to justify their whole life?
You weren't there?
As chairman, I wasn't allowed to be.
Oppenheimer still divides America. The committee's going to want to know where you stood. Admiral Strauss, this is a formality. President Eisenhower's asked you to be in his cabinet.
This is Robert Downey Jr.
And if they bring up Oppenheimer?
Be uncomfortable. Who'd want to justify their whole life?
Why did you leave the United States?
Wanted to study the new physics.
Was there nowhere here? Berkeley had the leading theoretical physics department.
Making
I went
excuses.
to Cambridge to study under Patrick Black.
In America?
Happier?
Yes.
No. No, emotionally immature, troubled by visions of a hidden universe. Useless in the lab.
Adequate.
Have you had any sleep?
It's Niels Bohr.
Born model.
All right.
I remember that.
You, Oppenheimer. You finish coaching those plates.
Green apple. Potassium cyanide. Oh, he really did try to poison the apple, huh?
Understand reality. Einstein's opened the door. Now we appear
He really tried to kill someone.
inside
Jeez.
our world.
Niels, meet J. Robert Oppenheimer. What's the J stand for? Lecture. You ask
Not
him.
eating apple.
No one's denying his insight. Yes, and you ask the same question. Why ask again?
I'd like to answer.
The stone without being ready for the snake that's revealed. Or the lead.
Intense.
So get out of Cambridge with its beakers and posts. Germany, study under Max Born, learn the ways of theory.
Wormhole.
He wants to be.
Actually,
And just
sad.
like sheet music, the important thing is
It's getting trippy.
Your relationship with Dr. J. Robert Oppenheimer. You met him in 1947.
Of the Institute for Advanced Study at Princeton, renowned as the great man of physics, and I was determined to get him to run the institute.
Mr. Strauss,
It's pronounced Strauss.
they know I'm Jewish.
Southern pronunciation. Anyway,
This is
welcome
Jewish.
to the institute. I think
Interesting.
you'll be very happy.
Physicist by training, Mr. Strauss?
I'm sorry, common room, 4 o'clock tea. No, I'm not trained in physics. Self-made man.
Oh, I can relate to that.
You know, I've always wondered why you didn't involve him in the Manhattan Project, scientific mind of our time.
Of his time, Einstein published his theory of relativity more than 40 years ago now. Louis Strauss was once a lowly shoe salesman.
No, just
No great thinkers come from different
I'd love
background.
to introduce you.
No need.
Albert.
Yeah, but Einstein.
What did you say to him?
Things in my past you ought to be aware of.
Well, as chairman of the AEC, I haven't. Why would I be worried after everything you've done for your country? You are the man for the job.
Well, then I'll consider it.
It's one of the most prestigious appointments in the country.
Yes, it was a great commute.
Didn't concern you.
But just then I was entirely consumed with what he must have said to Einstein to sour him on me. Well, we all know what happened.
Laughing, red chat.
Doctor, your time in Europe.
With my
Mr.
statement,
Robb, you'll have ample opportunity to cross-examine.
Leiden in Holland, where I first met Isidore Rabi.
This I have to
Is
hear.
that Dr. Octavius?
How surprising.
Und verschiedene Energie in der Verbindungsopname in der relative Translation.
What's he saying? Long way to Zurich. If you get any skinnier, we're gonna lose you between the seat cushions. How do you know Dutch?
Well, I thought I'd better learn it when I got here this semester.
Weeks to get a lecture on quantum mechanics isn't challenging enough. Schwitzer.
That's pretty good.
Show off.
Actually,
Ever get the feeling our kind isn't entirely welcome here? They're all Jewish, too. It's German you have to seek out.
Heisenberg.
Heisenberg.
Yes. I liked your paper on molecules.
Probably because you inspired.
And they're taking quantum mechanics seriously.
That's exactly what.
Did you ever encounter Heisenberg again?
Not in person.
The guys are
Returning to
Heisenberg.
America, I accepted positions at both.
Oppenheimer. Yes. I hear you want to start a school of quantum theory. We're building a machine to accelerate electrons.
Magnificent.
Would you like to help?
Build it? Oh, no.
When do you start teaching?
I've got my first in an hour.
Seminar?
Pupil.
I must have missed the
Mr. Lomnitz?
nah,
One student.
grasp on the basics.
Then you're doing it wrong.
Is light made up of particles or waves?
It's paradoxical, and yet it works.
More students, the size.
You're gonna be okay. A vast furnace burning in outer space, fire pushing outwards against its own gravity. When gravity starts winning, it contracts.
Density increase. What's the limit here?
I don't know. See where the math takes us. Your math is better than mine.
Detailed his activities in Berkeley. Why would they have started a file on Dr.
Left-wing political activity.
You embrace the revolution in physics. Can you see it everywhere else? Boyd, Marx.
Well, this is
More
America.
politics.
We had our
Why?
philosophy postgrads and communists talking integration.
You don't care about integration.
I want to vote for it, not talk about it.
These activities had come to the attention of the FBI.
The FBI was taking license plates outside suspected communist gatherings, and his name popped up.
Still Jackie.
Hello, still Jackie.
Chevalier, you're in languages?
And you used some understanding, but I hadn't heard you were a party member.
But I'm not.
Oh, not yet.
Democratic Republic being overthrown by fascist thugs. Who wouldn't?
Our government.
Colleagues in Germany to emigrate. I have to do something.
To involve in the
Two
politics.
stars die.
The more violent its demise, concentrated, it swallows everything. We can get published, then perhaps one day an astronomer finds one to write.
To send money to Spain, do it through the Communist Party. They can get it to the front line.
MG.
He says he's not a communist.
Well, then he doesn't know enough about it.
Read the most party members.
It's turgid stuff. There's some thinking, ownership is theft.
Property, not ownership.
I'm sorry, I read it in the original German.
You sound uncommitted.
Well, I'm committed to thinking freely about how to improve our world.
A physicist, you pick and choose rules. Channel your energies into progress.
I like a little.
I'm confused right now.
I like my wiggle room, too.
Okay.
Wait.
Unexpected.
What?
For a physicist. And my background's more...
Jungian? I tried to poison my tutor.
Did you hate him?
I liked him very much. Less 2 years, and I don't think they ever put it that succinctly.
You have everyone convinced you're more
Oh,
complicated.
that's a what? Bhagavad Gita.
Reveals his multi-armed self.
No.
And now I am become death, destroyer of worlds.
Air cools overnight. Just before dawn, good breaks.
Jackie's not good enough for you. We joined the party, and you can't hide your disapproval.
Now she should have convinced you to either.
Half of the faculty is communist.
Not that half.
And I want to wring your neck. I won't live my life afraid to make a mistake. And I'm happy you're happy that I'm happy.
Alvarez?
What is it?
In Germany, they split the uranium nucleus.
Bombarded it with neutrons.
It's a nuclear fission. They did it. They split the atom.
But it's on the paper.
How to reproduce it?
Can't be done. Very elegant. Alvarez did it.
Look massive. I've seen 30
Okay.
of these in the past 10 minutes.
Non spoil off, which could be used to split other
Practically
uranium
works.
atoms.
Chain reaction.
Alvarez.
Flowers.
I don't understand what you want from
I
me.
don't want anything from you.
You call.
Well, don't answer.
You're not coming?
You have to know when you're beaten, Robert.
What?
Illustrious Dr. Oppenheimer. I'm Elton to engineers, so I'm not scientists in academia.
Quakes have rights too.
Look, it's not that. I've got a group coming.
Oh, I'll sit in. Dr. Bush, what brings you two up north? Should you tell Ruth I'll be down to Pasadena Thursday?
He doesn't want him to be there.
Hey, for a black hole, it's in!
Get Hartland.
September 1st, 1939.
In the Battle of Britain, I found myself increasingly out of sympathy with the
Best polarity.
policy of changing views on Marcia did not mean a sharp break from those who held different views.
I thought this was the Coleman's house.
I live with them while I'm at Caltech.
Do you two need anything? Graduated to housewife. Can you explain quantum mechanics to me?
Top. Our bodies, empty space. Groupings of tiny energy waves bound together. Matter is solid. Stop my body passing through yours.
Raising up my hands.
But I feel...
She feels that way.
Sometimes going to New Mexico. To my ranch with friends. You should come in with your husband.
Yes, you did. He was kind.
Previous husband had died from money like me, but he was a union organizer in Youngstown, Ohio, giving off beans and pancakes, handing out the daily worker at factory gates. Killed first time he popped his head out of the trench. Enough for both our futures to stop one fascist bullet from embedding itself in a mud bank.
Bring me flowers.
Already told her. Nice.
He knocked her up. Fast work.
Can't keep a good man down.
What about the husband?
We talked, they're getting a divorce. He starts showing.
Already pregnant.
You think the rules don't apply to the golden boy? Don't alienate the only people in the world that understand what you do.
Get paid a month.
That's not the point, Lawrence.
What do any of you have in common with farm laborers and Duckwoody out? No!
Super mad.
Communists. So I haven't joined the party.
They won't let me bring you onto the project because...
Heard about Einstein and Ziller's letter to Roosevelt warning him the Germans could make a bomb, and I know what it means.
You think that I tell them about your politics? Next time you're coming home from a meeting, why don't you take a look in the rearview mirror? So goddamn naive. And you're actually important.
Everything you assume.
More pragmatic. I'll talk to Lomanitz, I'll talk to my involvement with the left-wing groups would not prove a bar.
Not seen as a security risk during the war.
Senator, I can't possibly answer. The most respected scientific voice in the world. That's why I asked him to run the institute. I was chair of the AEC, but it wasn't me that brought the charges against Robert. Reading Oppenheimer's security file, his communist brother, sister-in-law.
Board didn't have access to Oppenheimer's security file.
Because somebody gave it to him. Who knows?
Who is this snitch?
Care not to upset the power broker. I came in for plenty of harsh treatment. There was an AEC vote.
Could be useful to our enemies in the production of atomic weapons.
A bottle of beer. You're making atomic weapons. In fact, you do. I'd say isotopes, components, but more useful than a sandwich. Shouldn't you go to him?
Day.
I'm ashamed to ask.
Anything.
We're awful people. Selfish, awful people.
You see beyond the world we live in. There is a price to be paid.
Some new direction. It's reforming.
Is he going from him again?
Who are the uniforms?
Colonel Groves, this is Lieutenant Colonel Nichols. Have that dry cleaned.
Mad Demon.
How you treat Lieutenant Colonel, I'd hate to see how you treat a humble physicist.
If I ever meet one, I'll build the Pentagon. The brass likes it so much, they made me take over the Manhattan Engineer District. Damn well what it is. You and half of every physics department across the country. That's problem number one. Even though you brought quantum physics to America, which made me curious. You're a dilettante, a womanizer, a suspected communist, unstable, theatrical, egotistical, neurotic.
Nothing good? No?
No brilliance is taken for granted in your circle, so no. He thinks you have integrity, but he also strikes me as a guy who knows more.
Take much on trust.
I don't take anything on trust. You have a Nobel Prize.
Why aren't you a general?
They're making me one for this.
Perhaps I'll have the same luck. Alfred Nobel invented dynamite.
But 12-month head start. 18. How could you possibly know that?
Our fast neutron research took 6 months.
I think they put in charge.
Werner Heisenberg. Here's the most intuitive understanding. Both of von Weizsäcker, Diebner, in a straight race, the Germans win.
Identity visible.
Quantum physics, Jewish science, said it right to Einstein's face. I hate that he's denied Heisenberg proper resources because it'll take vast resources. For security may cost us the race, inefficiency will. Who are we at war with?
Somebody with your past doesn't want to be seen downplaying the
job to say no to you when you're wrong.
So you have the job now?
I'm considering it.
Oppenheimer couldn't run a hamburger stand.
Can run the Manhattan Project.
Keep the Rad Lab here at Berkeley, under Lawrence,
and its scientific innovation, connected by rail. focused on one goal. Secret laboratory. In the middle of nowhere, secure, self-sufficient. Equipment, housing, the works, stores, a church. Why? If we don't let scientists bring their families, we'll
in the middle of nowhere.
come up here for burial rites, but apart from that, nothing. 40 miles. Any direction.
Feel my boot on your balls.
You know why, so they stopped printing newspapers in Princeton.
Why would we go to the middle of nowhere for who knows how?
Well, they have them. We don't. That's why I need you.
Why would you think I'd do that?
Because this is the most important fucking thing to ever happen in the history of the world. How about that?
It'd be good for a career even after the war.
So you're a fellow traveler. They need us.
Until they don't.
Yeah, that is true.
How many people do you know who proved Einstein wrong?
How's it, guys? You say the building's too small for this cyclotron.
Get them together with the architects.
Can't do in your head.
4 divisions, theoretical.
Indisputable.
Who's running theoretical?
I am.
That's what I was afraid of. The culmination of 3 centuries of physics to be a weapon of mass destruction.
If we can be trusted with such a weapon.
Off that ridiculous uniform. You're a scientist.
Groves is insisting we join.
Okay. Please keep becoming the wild.
Let's get started. Hello, Edward.
The chain reaction. I found a rather troubling possibility.
Well, his calculations can't be right.
Do them yourself while I go to Princeton.
What for?
Oppenheimer. Oh, have you met Dr. Goethe? We walk here most days. He's convinced that the Nazis can poison his food.
Living in delusions.
What do you take it to mean?
Neutrons smash into nucleus, releasing neutron criticality. A point of no return, massive stop.
It would ignite the atmosphere.
And we destroys the world.
So here we are, lost in your quantum
In the whole world.
and needing certainty. Thing you and I have in common is a disdain for mathematics. Who's working on this in Berkeley? Then you stop and you share your findings with the Nazis. So neither side destroys the world. This is yours, not mine.
Non-controlled nuclear reaction are near zero.
Near zero.
Hit one of these things, the best assurance you're going to get is this. Near zero.
Altonton.
Oh. The chemist from Shell? The union guy?
Yeah, the FACT guy. The government's not sharing any research with the Russians. Said most scientists think the policy is stupid. If anyone had anything they wanted to pass on, going around official channels, that
I think the movie is pretty confusing.
yes, it
You know, not the backstory behind it.
And our long-standing friendship would have led me to believe that Chevalier was actually seeking information.
The tension between scientists and the security apparatus.
Range of opinion. Well, I'd like to know the name of the scientist testifying. I'd like the chance to cross.
No presidential cabinet nominee has failed to be confirmed since 1925. This is bringing a scientist, so what?
You don't know scientists like I do, Counselor. They resent Oppenheimer and the U.S. one.
I don't think we need to go there. Isn't there someone we can call who knows what really happened?
In Chicago, they worked under Sillard and Fermi, not the cult of Oppie at Los Alamos.
A vast and sudden chemical reaction. Calculate how much more destructive it would have been if it were a nuclear and not a chemical.
Imagine we'll need a 33-pound sphere about this size, or use.
They can see it all.
Here's the amount of uranium Oak Ridge refined, all of this much plutonium. Now, if we can enrich these amounts, we...
Instead of uranium or plutonium, we use hydrogen. Heavy hydrogen. Deuterium under great pressure to induce a fusion reaction.
Hang on. So how do you
More idea.
generate enough force to fuse? Well, since we're going to need one anyway, we get back to the business at hand.
The isotopes issue was the hydrogen bomb, wasn't it?
Well, as colleagues, we agree.
We can now consider the actual mechanics of material into a larger sphere with enough force to achieve criticality.
What do we think?
Sphere blast inwards, crushing the material.
I'd like to investigate that idea.
Meet the British contingent.
Dr. Oppenheimer. Klaus Fuchs.
How long have you been British?
Since Hitler.
Always running. And I thought of a way to reduce support staff.
Security cleared.
I've informed General Groves we've been holding cross-divisional open discussions on a nightly basis.
Once a week. Top men only. I'll go tomorrow.
Yeah, becoming more aggressive, I guess.
Of the United States needs to know about it. Just know about it already from a spy. Robert.
Who could think straight in a place like that, huh?
I'm leaving that in the notes. When are you going to try it out?
Self-sustaining
Yeah,
nuclear
me,
chain
Mala.
reaction.
Didn't grown-ups tell you?
And put Mrs. Sornick here on the plutonium team.
What the hell were you doing in Chicago?
Visiting the Met.
Why?
You have every right.
You have just the rights that I give you. No more, no less.
This is ridiculous. Tell him enough of this madhouse. Nobody can work under these conditions. You know what? I quit. Thanks for nothing.
We're off without him. We'll have him killed. I was just kidding. Not
Oh,
everyone has
nice job.
Neither humble nor just a soldier. You studied engineering at MIT. Guilty as charged. Well, now security clearance, so I can perform this miracle.
He had a very extreme liberal background. In your opinion, would he ever consciously committed?
The clearance of Dr. Oppenheimer.
They could not and would not clear him.
Only really one question I need answered here today. In light of the current AEC guidelines, would you clear Dr. Oppenheimer today? Current AEC guidelines, would you clear Dr. Oppenheimer today?
No.
Wait, gentlemen.
From Berkeley. I am here to update you on our progress and that there were communists on the project. I just want to know were any of them involved?
Left the party by then.
What about Loman?
Incident?
I don't know any of these names.
A mistake. Your friend Lomanitz has been trying to unionize the radiation lab. The officer at Berkeley is concerned about communist infiltration through that union, the FA. Q clearance came through. Important you not maintain or renew any questionable associations.
Engaged on secret war work and communists was dangerous.
My awareness of the danger would...
Felt that such contacts were potentially dangerous.
Doesn't matter who I associate with. I don't talk about those secrets.
Same guy.
You said in your statement, Gene Tatlock in 1943.
Why not?
Because you're a communist.
What did you have to see her?
I couldn't, but I felt that she had to see me.
Find out why she had to see you.
Huh? No, sorry.
She was still in love with me.
Together, didn't you?
Yes. I'd rather be here for you as you need.
But you have other priorities now.
Me to come. And I'm glad I did.
What if I need you?
Yeah, other priorities.
You said you would always answer.
Consistent with good security.
As a matter of fact, it was. Not a word. Till.
If they don't release the transcript, I'm sure you will. Day after day, letting them pick our lives to pieces.
Back the next morning. I did. I had. You met Colonel Pash?
Colonel Pash, could you please read from your memo dated June 20?
Know him?
No, he should know you. I would never put you in a room with Pash.
Why not?
He was gonna kidnap him, take him out on a boat, and interrogate him in the Russian manner.
It's to me a certain responsibility, and it's like having a child who I can't see. Hudson told me of a conversation you had yesterday in which I'm very interested. It's had me worried all day.
It wouldn't be admissible in court. Pash made it clear he had no intention of leaving any witness left to prosecute.
That he was in a position to transmit information.
Well, why would anyone on the project want to do that?
And for the commander-in-chief informing the Russians they're our allies, after all, but I don't like the idea of it going in the context of Russia's not Germany.
Boris Pash. This is a man who has killed communists with his own hands.
I'm not the judge of who should or should not have information.
Of his was an acquaintance of someone on the project. Attempting to give them Eltonton without opening a can of worms. I told them a cock and bull
Station about the Chevalier incident.
I've seen so many versions of
Literally
it.
lying.
Wasn't confused. Something wicked about telling on a friend.
Well, now, member of the project?
A member of the faculty, yes, but not on the project. See him uncooperative.
Stuttering Stanley.
It's because of my insistence and not...
He did, but not then, did he?
No.
No, in fact, it was some months later, wasn't it?
And my job is to protect the people that work for me.
Instead of us going on certain steps, which may come to your attention, not formulating a plan, I'll just have to digest the whole thing.
Just trying to find the name of the intermediary?
Considerable resources, yes. Without the name, our job was extremely difficult.
Like now?
Reactions in uranium.
That sounds more like a reactor than a bomb.
Did he mention gaseous diffusion?
So could you give us some more? I'm not here to help, Robert. I knew you could do this without me.
Why did you come? Lift the stone without being ready for the snake that's revealed.
We have to make the politicians understand this isn't a new idea.
He was here the one
You're an
forever.
American Prometheus.
Blood. It was a note.
She died.
She said she needed me. And all I could... No, it was me.
To
commit the sin, and then have us all feel sorry for you.
It might do to the female reproductive
Your
system.
reproductive system is more exposed than mine, presumably.
Can we please? Let's getting on with it. So, pick one.
Nedemai is doing his job. Tella's not helping.
British can do it. Fuchs.
Absolutely.
It's your job, Tella. I'm engaged in research. On a hydrogen bomb, we're not even...
It won't work for that man.
Oh. Let him go. He's a prima donna.
You replace Nedemai. Seth, I'm putting you on plutonium. Lily, you go with Kirsty. Oh, I'm putting you exclusively on the implosion device.
잠시 roll.
Stay here. Research what you want. Fusion, the hydrogen bomb.
Tisha now, Robert. You've left physics behind many, many years ago.
An hour, you and me.
Now raise the barrier.
An H-bomb is 1,000 times the power of an A-bomb. Largest cities. It's a weapon of mass genocide.
Izzy, draw some circles on this side of the map.
It's a weapon of attack with no defensive value.
Arsenal of atomic bombs?
You drown in 10 feet of water or 10,000.
그쵸.
I believe we should commit all our resources to that chance.
Then how would you have Truman should do, right? The world's changed. It's not fascism, but communism.
The Russians will have no choice but to build their own.
Could they be working on one already? Not sure you want to go down this road.
Louis, with respect, we are the advisory committee. We will...
Like a meteor. A V-2 rocket headed England. Happy for such an enemy rocket to carry an atomic...
But I did anyway.
Or do you not believe that Dr. Oppenheimer is a security risk?
Longer, the enemy who are the greatest threat to mankind. It's our work. Their defeat seems assured.
Not if you're a GI preparing to invade.
Justify using this weapon on human beings.
Things horrify us. But they won't fear it until they understand it. The secret of Los Alamos. Our work here will ensure a peace mankind has never seen.
$1 billion worth?
Well, hard to put a price on it.
80 babies delivered the first year. This year we've had 10 a month.
Everybody, folks, head down.
Yeah, testing.
Viable bombs. I need a date.
The sweet spot, gentlemen.
August. July. My brother could be trusted. Absolutely.
And you felt your judgment was sound on who won the team.
Okay. Everybody ready?
Need to be a lot farther away.
I'll figure it out
fast. We leave for Washington in the morning. We're gonna give him a date.
To hold out alone.
How could you know that? You got us into this. You and Einstein with your
Firestorm in Tokyo killed 100,000 people, mostly civilians.
Brutal conflict in the Pacific buys a lot of latitude with the American public.
Enough to unleash the atomic bomb.
Yeah, I'm not so from justifying the bomb.
Make the psychological impact 1,000 feet of divine power.
If that's true, it would be definitive. World War II would be over.
And everything they have up against us, and I'd be up in that plane. Way to demonstrate a bomb to Japan to provoke surrender.
We intend to demonstrate it in the most unambiguous. Keep doing this until they surrender.
We have a list of 12 cities to choose from. Taking Kyoto off the wife and I honeymooned there. It's a magnificent city.
Wow, okay, not a time.
Without informing our allies, they'll see it as a threat, and we'll be in an arms race.
Stop the Soviets from becoming part of the atomic world. The bomb is a matter of time.
The program needs to continue at full pace after the war.
As soon as it's practical, we should sever any such scientist from the program. Wouldn't you agree, Doc?
President Truman has no intention of raising expectations that Stalin be included in the atomic project.
We will test fire before the conference.
Not as risky as dropping one over Japan and hoping that we were right about the blast radius.
Don't let them slow us down with base camp, west observation, or far observation.
What about the radiation cloud?
Clutches are in place, but we need good weather for visibility, so it has to... So if anyone is anything, speak now. Yes.
Break a leg.
Implosion lenses will work.
If we fire these detonators and they don't trigger...
For my salary against $10. Says it lights.
Let's get to soft observation.
Pull them out.
We can make our determination there.
Raining, blowing lightning.
For how long, damn it?
Hold strong.
It'll be before dawn.
Forecast.
fast. If you're wrong, I'll hang you.
Tell them all, 5:30. Atmospheric ignition. Well, we had a moment where it looked like the chain reaction from a living fire to the atmosphere.
Keep testing
Was
it,
Fermi still taking side bets on it?
even though they know
Gallows.
it's still going on. Atmospheric detection.
Are
Oh,
we saying we destroy the world? Nothing in our research overthrew you. Chances are near zero. Near zero. Zero would be nice. 1 hour, 58 minutes. Well, no.
I guess it's not sure.
20 minutes. The explosion only through your welder's glass.
90 seconds. Detonation.
And here comes the
Things are harder than your heart.
30 seconds.
Detonator charged.
this music is intense.
10, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It is successful then. Yeah, no sound this entire time. There's a huge mushroom cloud.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
It's a classic line.
Hello? Hi, Kitty. What? Charlotte.
He just said to tell you to bring in the sheets.
Referred to a powerful new weapon. Stalin would use it against Japan. Go in the Pacific. So to know about the Japanese. You're not signing it, are you? Does not give us any more right or responsibility.
But we're the only people who know about
It becomes unthinkable.
until somebody builds a bigger one.
And that's the problem. Nuclear arms race.
Had more power than 20,000 tons of DNA. It is a harnessing of the basic power of the universe.
It went all right. Apparently, it went with a tremendous bang. Elected the director of Los Alamos.
$1 billion on the greatest.
Remember this day to determine what the results of the bombing are, but I'll bet the Japanese didn't like it.
Doesn't want to say it.
I'm so proud. So proud of what you have accomplished. I just wish we had it in time to use against the Germans.
Living in nightmare.
The most famous man in the world. You helped save a lot of American. Hiroshima was
And Nagasaki.
obvious. Boys home.
Well, it was hardly.
Not sure that was a success.
It was. You on the cover of Time.
Cooperation on atomic energy, and I'm concerned.
Did you know when the
I
so
don't think I could give you
never
This guy, the
good physicists and abundant resources.
abundant? You're leaving Los Alamos. What should we do with it?
Give it back to the Indians.
If what you say about the Soviets,
doesn't like the response.
we have to build up Los Alamos, not shut it down.
I feel that I have blood on my hands.
You think anyone in Hiroshima gives a shit who built the bomb?
What? Is he delusional?
Hiroshima isn't about you.
But he built it. What?
Dr. Oppenheimer.
Put that crybaby back in here.
Oh, this guy is something else.
Hand-wringing got him no.
Exerted a great influence on the atomic policies of the USA, responsible for destroying all opposition to their export.
Can you use a bottle of beer?
Working the railroad, laying track on Robert from pushing the GAC to recommend arms control instead of the H-bomb. When Truman rejected their recommendation.
More than I can bear.
I know. I know.
I'm glad he didn't lift his.
Thought fame could actually protect him. If he saw one more chance.
I think you knew him. Patrick Blackett. It may not be
Patrick Batman.
Stimson is now telling me we bombed an enemy.
Oppenheimer is
Sphinx like guru of the atom.
One final time, our program director, Dr. J. Robert Oppenheimer.
US1. That'll work.
Those were your words from the other day. Magazine is gonna write.
Henry Luce.
I'll tell you how it's done. But you've been far ahead all along.
Survive.
Humiliated him in front of Congress.
But more useful than a sandwich.
There that he is neutral.
Wake up! It is Strauss. It's always been Strauss, and you know.
And that was Bernard.
It's up for renewal. You send your accusations to the FBI. Oppenheimer, his security clearance is not be renewed, but offer him the chance to appeal. As you to Rob. Ouch. Oppenheimer's file. As will the Gray Board. Defense counsel will not.
Yes, analysis.
Sir, you're out of the shadows now.
You can't do that. You'd be accepting the charges. Lose your reputation. We'll lose our house. Robert, we have to fight.
Lloyd Garrison.
Oh, he's good.
The best. But you never said man of the consulate, expert in the use of microfilm.
I'm sorry. Under himself. And all this time, you had a recording?
Nobody told your client to misrepresent his former answer.
The witness list.
Mr. Garrison, this isn't a trial, as you are well aware. Evidentiary rules do not apply. We are dealing with national security.
Really sneaky.
From providing
Perhaps we are in need of a brief reason of not revealing who the intermediary was.
Your friend, Hakon Chevalier, the communist.
Eat.
And orange.
That Dr. Oppenheimer was unalterably opposed to the H-bomb.
The good fission program.
But that proved not to be the case. So satisfied that in his testimony here, Dr. Oppenheimer had been wholly truthful.
An A-bomb and a whole series of it. We have a whole series of super bombs. What more do you want? Mermaids.
More probably than not, J. Robert Oppenheimer is an agent of the Soviet Union.
About what's happening here.
We will now hear from Dr. David Hill.
Because of the personal vindictiveness he demonstrated against Dr. Oppenheimer.
A service to my country when hearing this case.
No board in this country. Largely through the animus of Louis Strauss, and Strauss never forgave him this public humiliation. How the H-bomb would contribute to national security. Strauss turned to the personal, and Strauss was able to find a few ambitious men who also disagreed with Oppenheimer's positions.
Do you or do you not believe that Dr. Oppenheimer is a security risk?
It's to me exceedingly hard to understand. I thoroughly disagreed with him in Noon Complicated. To this extent, I feel I want to see the vital interests of...
You shook his fucking hand? Enough for you. Well, I think you're all being too goddamn gentlemanly.
Gray must see what Rob is doing. Would you clear Dr.
So
Oppenheimer?
it's a him, it's a love.
General, that is all.
But I don't think I'd clear any of those guys.
Describe your views on communism as pro, anti, neutral.
Very strongly against. I've had
Investigated by a prosecutor who used all the tricks of a rather ingenious legal background.
You are in charge of...
In fact, as the prosecuting counsel, a man appointed not by the...
Who was this?
Roger Robb.
Mrs. Oppenheimer, Communist Party membership card. Act of joining the party required sending some money and receiving a card, no?
So she had a car.
Return the card or rip it up?
the card whose existence I've forgotten.
Your Communist Party membership card.
Haven't the slightest idea. Remember, I thought they were definitely two things.
Oh?
I thought that the Communist Party of the United States, 16 years ago,
But
17 years ago, my mistake.
But you said...
Sorry, 18. Robert gave money from time to time.
Did you know this money was going into Communist Party channels? In 1942, your husband had not stopped having anything to do with the Communist Party. You don't have to answer that yes or no.
Not properly phrased.
Do you understand what I'm getting at?
I do.
Then why don't you answer it that
Because
way?
I don't like your phrase. Had anything to do with the Communist Party as such. I know he gave money to...
Communist and you're plain old regular commie.
Well, I couldn't answer that one.
Couldn't either.
Chef roasting.
Robert, your country well. If this is the reward she offers you, then perhaps you should turn your back on her.
Out of try! He'll come here to tear me down. What's his angle?
Do people need a reason to do the right thing? As he sees it.
I said to him that day, but by this time, even meet my...
You were deterred by any moral qualms. But you still got on with your work, didn't you?
Yes, but Oppenheimer, if he could do it all over, he'd do it all the same. You know he's never won. Do it all over. Why?
We freely use the atomic bomb.
In fact, Dr. Yu assisted in selecting the target to drop both Hiroshima and...
110,000 in both.
On the day of each bombing.
Somewhere between 50 and 100,000.
220,000 dead at least.
Yes.
Any moral scruples about that? It was very successful.
Technically successful.
Oh, technically it was very successful.
No questioning.
It is too small.
Well, supposing there had been a target in Japan big enough for a thermonuclear weapon, because of moral scruples.
We set forth our...
No, you. I'm asking you argued against the use of it.
I was asked by the Secretary of War what the views of science...
You supported it.
What do you mean support?
Well, you helped pick the target, didn't you?
I did my job. I was not in a power...
Built the H-bomb too, wouldn't you?
I could...
I didn't ask you, Bill!
What I meant was...
Who?
What I meant...
Who?
Would only fuel their efforts just as it had with the atomic bomb.
Just as it had with the atomic bomb, exactly.
We tend to use any weapon.
Hiroshima, not Nagasaki. Moment in my career about to become the most public humiliation of my life. Great to gather the fucking press.
Dr. J. Robert Oppenheimer has come to the unanimous conclusion that you are loyal. We have voted 2-1 deny the renewal of your security clearance.
Deny?
I'm denied. Yeah?
I'm afraid so, sir.
All right.
Kennedy. John F. Kennedy.
That if you let them tar and feather you, the world would forgive you.
President Eisenhower pinned the Medal of Freedom on my chest last year at Einstein by the pond.
You did, but you know, sir, since nobody didn't talk about you at all, it's possible they spoke about something more important.
You are a boy.
That I had lost the ability to understand what I'd started, the consequences of your achievement. They'll serve you salmon and potato salad, pure medal.
Yeah, getting older.
Pat you on the back, tell you all is forgiven for them.
This conversation.
When I came to you with those calculations, started a chain reaction that would destroy the entire world, I believe we did.
Very good score right there. Okay, guess I would ending there. Yeah, actually really good movie right there. Even Christopher Nolan nails it again. End of the video for now.